Hey everybody, and welcome to your reformer class. Today's class is going to be a beautiful restorative mobility and stretch flow. It's going to be the perfect class to do to help your body recover, reset, prevent injury. So whether you've had a big week of training or you're just feeling a bit achy, a bit sore, a bit tight anywhere, this is going to be the perfect class to get you back to feeling your best, feeling good, feeling lengthy, stretchy, mobile, and just your best. I'm so excited to do this class with you because, to be honest, my body definitely needs it right now as well. So I'm so excited to take you through this class. Beautiful flow I've got planned for you. So we're starting today's class on one medium spring, so one blue spring. Pop that on. I've got my foot bar all the way up, ready to go for some lovely hip flexor stretches to start class. So we're coming on up to start our class with a hip flexor stretch. So coming onto the right side of your reformer, we're going to set our right foot up on the floor just beside our foot bar. Left knee and left foot comes into your carriage and shoulder post, toes are tucked. Now from here, we're going to bring our hands to hips, lift your chest, roll the shoulders back and down, and just find a little opening of your carriage, just 10 to 15 centimeters away from the stopper. My right knee is directly over my right ankle and my left knee is directly under my left hip. So find that beautiful alignment. And then once we're there, we're focusing on finding a tuck under, a gentle tuck of the tailbone, like you're zipping pubic bone up to belly button here, and finding length through that left hip flexor, so through the front of that left leg. And to deepen that, if you feel comfortable, we're going to take that left arm up overhead and find a beautiful little side bend over to the right. Think bicep, that left arm is in line with your ear, so chest stays open. And we're not only getting a nice stretch now through that left side waist, but all the way down to that hip flexor, deep in that hip flexor stretch here as we hold. Let's just hold here for one more nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhaling out through the mouth. As we come down, we're going to bring both our hands onto the foot bar just in front of us, and we're going to send that carriage a little bit further out, finding a nice deep, beautiful lunge here. Shoulders stay down away from ears, chest stays lifted, right knee stays over right ankle. But you should feel a really nice stretch and opening through that left hip flexor again. We're still maintain that tuck under, that scoop of the pelvis, as you really feel a beautiful stretch and opening. Now we're going to start to move into a little flow between our hip flexor and our hamstring stretch. Let's keep our hands on our foot bar, keep the carriage back, and can we extend that right leg just as long as feels comfortable and lift those right toes off the floor. Our eye gaze goes down to the rail or the well just below us. You may not get that right leg all the way straight, and that's totally fine. If you have tight hemi, that's very normal. Just breathing into it. And as I mentioned, we're going to flow here, make a dynamic stretch. When you're ready, plant that right foot back down and we rock back forward into that hip flexor stretch. Find that stretch through that left hip. Good, hold that for one nice deep breath. And then we push back into our hamstring stretch. Lengthen that right leg. Lift those right toes. Toes flex back towards you. Good, let's do that one more time. Foot comes back to floor, find that hip flexor stretch. Shoulders relax away from ears. And let's find that hamstring stretch one last time. Flex those toes, lift the toes off the floor. If you'd like to deepen this stretch here, you can bring your right hand down to the rail just below you, soften through your left elbow, that left hand on that foot bar still. And we're just trying to fold our chest a little bit further forward towards that right thigh. Good, hopefully finding a little bit more length now as we hold this hamstring stretch for last 3, last 2, and hands to foot bar, rock it forward, close that carriage for 1. We're going to do it all again on the other side. So coming off, let's walk ourselves around to the other side of our carriage now, setting ourselves up for that little hold to begin. So left foot comes to floor just beside our foot bar. Right knee and toes come into that shoulder post. Hands to hips, just open that carriage a little bit away from that stopper. We're finding that tuck under of our tailbone. So scooping the pelvis, pubic bone zipping up to belly button. Shoulders relax away from ear. And should immediately find that length and opening through the front of that right hip. It might feel a little bit tighter on one side and the other. That is totally normal. And can we take that right arm up and find that little side bend over to the left this time. As you reach through those right fingertips, find length through that right side waist all the way down to that hip flexor. Just holding here, one more nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. As that arm comes down, hands come to foot bar just in front of you, and we send that lunge down even deeper, still keeping left knee over left ankle, shoulders down, chest is up. Oh, I just love this stretch. I feel like my body really needs these hip flexor stretches. Hip flexors often are a muscle that most people find is quite tight just from sitting, whether that's at a desk, driving a car, watching TV. Hips get super, super tight. Now let's start to flow into that hamstring stretch. When you feel ready, let's extend that left leg, flex those left toes off the floor and back towards you as you find length through that left hamstring, the back of that left leg. Good. Holding for a moment, and then we drop that foot back to the floor, find that hip flexor lunge. We'll do that 2 more times. Good, and repeat. Extend that leg, lift those toes, hips press back, that carriage stays back, looking down to the well below you or down to that rail. Good, and then drop that foot back down. 1 more hamstring stretch here, I should say. Good, and we send it back. We hold this one, flex those toes, maybe hopefully finding a little bit more length through that left hamstring now. And if you like, you can bring that left hand down to the rail, soften through that right elbow and fold yourself a little bit further down to that left thigh. Oh, it feels so good to open up those hammies. Again, another muscle that gets quite tight, whether it's from walking or just standing around. They get super, super tight. I find my hammies especially are always super tight. Good, let's hold for 1 more nice deep breath. Sink a little bit deeper. And come on up. Beautiful. Plant that foot down and let's close that carriage. Well done, team. Alrighty. We're going to get into our monkey stretch now. So a little bit more love for those hammies while we're working on them. Hammies, I love stretching them out. So we're going to pop on a red spring now. So 1 heavy spring, pop that on, take the other spring off, just on 1 red spring now. We're going to take a seat on our carriage, just facing towards our foot bar. Now a couple options here for your seated position, or basically where you position yourself. If you're someone who has very tight hamstrings, you're going to want to go a little bit further back towards your shoulder post. It's going to give you a bit more range here and make it a little bit easier to open and close that carriage. If you're someone you're feeling pretty comfortable, you have a bit more range in those hammies, you're going to shuffle a little bit further towards the front of your carriage. If you're not sure, a good place to start is in the center and then adjust from there. We're going to hold on to our foot bar, our hands are nice and wide to the corners, and bring your tippy toes up onto your foot bar. So just the balls of your feet and your toes are wrapping around that foot bar, about hip width apart, not too wide. Now we're starting that carriage close. You're pulling yourself into a little ball, kind of rounding through your spine. Your sit bones and tailbone are on that carriage. Now from here, take an inhale, prepare, relax those shoulders away from ears. And as you exhale, you just start to extend your legs. Try and keep your tummy on your thighs as long as you can, and then extend those legs, folding yourself forward. Still keeping hold of that foot bar. Find a little monkey stretch. Legs are as long as we can. Now, it is quite a strong stretch, so if you find you can't get those legs completely straight, that is totally fine. Have a soft bend through those knees. Go holding here, relax those shoulders, and again, this will be a nice dynamic stretch. You're going to bend your knees, draw the carriage back in, sitting up tall. Find that little ball shape as you close that carriage. And then we send that carriage back out again. Again, feel free to adjust your position. Shuffle back if you find you're not having enough range here. Or if you want a deeper stretch, shuffle yourself forward if you have the range and length through the hammies to allow. Good. And bring it back in. We'll do 1 more just like that. Close that carriage. And we press it out. Beautiful. Rounding forward. Keep that chest low. Eye gaze is down to the knees or down to that working spring below you. Good. Try and press those heels a little bit more under that bar if we can as we hold here. Beautiful. And bring it on in. Alrighty, staying where you are, we're going to add a bit of rotation to this one. So releasing your right hand off that foot bar as you extend those legs, opening out to that right side. Eye gaze follows that right arm, opening through the chest and the shoulder. And come back forward. Let's go other side. Right hand plants down, left hand lifts. We open, extend those legs. Eye gaze follows that left hand as you fold forward. Finding a really nice stretch through the chest here, through those arms. And let's go 1 more each side. Good. Right hand floats up and off. big opening, hopefully getting a little bit more length through those hammies now. Legs getting a little bit longer. Good. And let's go last one over to the left. Good. And bring it in. Beautiful. Bring that carriage into a close and carefully bring your feet down. We're going to shuffle ourselves all the way back now into our shoulder pose and take a cross-legged position. Now, if you're not comfortable cross-legged here, you can also do this one with your legs long, just let them dangle off the carriage when we do start to move the carriage. But otherwise, if we're comfortable and our hips and legs allow, we are cross-legged here, right back into those shoulder poses. They're there to kind of help you sit up. Now we're staying on that red spring. We're going to reach back and grab onto our long loops here. So not too strong, but on still a pretty strong spring here for a nice upper body chest stretch. Now I want you to sit nice and tall, grow tall to the spine, sit up tall on those sit bones. We're going to start in an offering position. So palms are facing up, elbows are tight to our waist, shoulders are down away from ears. And our first movement here is just to press those arms forward. And then as we're there, we turn our palms in towards each other. Coming to that chest stretch, you're going to slowly open out to a chest fly, not letting that carriage close. We're keeping tension on the spring. Those hands come in line or just behind your shoulders, and finding a beautiful stretch here through the pecs, through the chest, through the shoulders as you hold tension on that spring. Don't let that carriage close. And then when you're ready, we scoop and bend our elbows back into that offering position, so we're not extending and pressing forward from that back range, and then we press forward. Palms turn in, then we slowly open, keep the chest up, spine long. Find that stretch before the carriage closes. Opening through those arms, big stretch, relax shoulders away from ears. Enjoy that opening, let that spring really pull those hands back. And then we scoop and bend. And then we press. So we're not pressing from that back range, we're pressing with those hands in front of us. Good, step a little bit taller, we'll go 3 more. Good, feel that beautiful stretch, bring it in. Nice, you've got last 2. Good, exhaling as you open, find that beautiful stretch and sinking nice and deep there. Good, and let's go 1 more nice stretch here. Press it forward, palms turn in, and slowly open. Let's enjoy this one. Hold it for a little bit longer before we let that carriage close. Good. Open, relax those shoulders, and then bring those arms back in. Let that carriage come to a close. Well done. Let's just pop those straps back down onto that poles for a moment. We're going to change our springs now for a little bit of side lying work on the reformer. So we're going to go onto 1 blue spring. So 1 medium spring. Popping that blue spring on, take the red spring off. We're going to also pop our headrest up into its highest position. So lift that one up, and then we're going to come down and lie onto our right side. So all the way down, bring your head onto that propped up headrest. We're going to set up for some side arm openings firstly. So I want you to shuffle all the way forward on that headrest, so you're right up in that front shoulder post. Our knees are tucked up in front of us, and I like to say to give yourself a bit of room to roll back and open that back shoulder to the carriage, just sliding a little bit towards your foot bar. So you're not right up at the top of the headrest, you're a little bit further down towards the platform, so you're out of those shoulder posts. You're not right in them, it should be just in front of your face. We're going to reach those arms forward, palms are turned towards each other, arms are long out in front in line with shoulders. For our side arm openings here, the bottom arm is going to stay nice and still, and that top hand, our left hand, is going to slowly start to open up to the ceiling. Your eye gaze is going to follow that left hand as you open, let that left shoulder drop all the way back to the carriage behind you, or as far as your range allows. Once we're there, we're thinking of reaching our fingertips to each side of the room, like they're being pulled away from you to find that beautiful stretch, again, through the chest like we just found with our chest stretch using those straps. Now adding a bit of rotation for our spine. And then when you're ready, you lift that left hand back up and you're going to close the palms back together. Now, if you feel at all restricted by that back shoulder post again, so as you open, you're rolling into that shoulder post and that shoulder is not getting all the way down to the carriage, again, just shuffle away from your headrest, so you're further down towards the platform. Give yourself a bit of room to open that shoulder back. You want to really try and square your chest to the ceiling here. Good, let's go 2 more. Beautiful. big reach up, exhale, big stretch, let that shoulder drop, eye gaze follows as far as we can, and then reach those fingertips away, big stretch. Almost a really nice one for that spinal mobility. Good, we'll go one more here, then we'll get a bit into our hip mobility. Beautiful. One last big stretch, reach those fingertips wide, and close it back down. Beautiful. Alrighty, once you're back in front, you can shuffle back into your headrest so you're nice and comfortable, that head is propped up. We're going to take hold of that long strap that's in front of us and we're going to pop that over the arch of our top foot, so our left foot. We're going to start by extending that left leg nice and long. We're going to come into a bit of inner thigh, a bit of hip mobility here. Now we're going to slightly turn those left toes up to the ceiling. So you're excellently rotating from the hip. So you're already opening up through that hip. Should feel really nice. We're going to make sure we're not rolling back with that hip though. So we're still stacked through the hips like we're up against an imaginary brick wall. But we're just slightly externally rotating through the hip and those toes are turned up. Now keeping that leg long, we're coming to a lift and lower. Slowly I want you to start to lift that leg up, keep the hip stacked, don't let it roll back, finding a stretch and opening through the inner thigh and the hip. Holding here for a moment, enjoy that stretch. And then we're going to exhale to drive that foot back down in line with foot bar. Still maintain that turnout. And repeat, lift that leg slowly up. Good, exhale, deep breath into it. Try and get a little bit further. Good, hips stay stacked. Then exhale, drive it back down. So this one's a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of strength work through that hip and through that inner thigh, but it should mainly be a really nice stretch here for that inner thigh, those adductors. And again, really nice way to open up through the hip. Did a bit of hip mobility earlier with the hip flexor stretch. This one's a bit more under load now. I love this stretch, I feel it feels so good. Good. Let's go for 3 more. Then we're going to hold it up and grab onto that rope to assist that stretch at the top. It's going to feel so good. Good. Get a little bit further. I can already see my range is increasing. Good. On the next one, we're going to lift up and hold that leg lifted. Keep that hip stacked. And can we reach up for that rope, grabbing onto it and just gently, not forcing it, just gently tugging on that rope, pulling it down towards your waist. To deepen that stretch, toes and hip are still open into that external rotation. Should feel really nice. Great way to open up through our hip, improve our flexibility in that lower body. Good, just holding here for 5. We're going to slide that strap down over our knee in 3, in 2, and 1. Release that strap. You can just drive that foot down. Bend the knee back in towards your body, and we're just going to carefully slide that long strap so it's down now over our knee. A little bit funky setup for this next one. I'm going to get you to carefully come up and pop that headrest down into its flattest position. So just prop yourself up on your right elbow, flatten your headrest, and we're just going to bring now our right forearm and elbow onto our headrest. I'm slightly sliding towards my shoulder post with my hips. So I'm about in the center of my carriage. My knees and hips are stacked and I have a fair bit of room between me and the foot bar. So when we start to come into this clam and hip circle movement, foot bar's not going to be in my way. So that's why I like to shuffle towards the shoulder post a little bit. Setting ourselves up, we're on that right forearm, our right elbow is under our right shoulder, and we're lifting out of that shoulder. So we're not dumping into it, we're lifting and we're strong to that underneath arm. We're lifting through that right side waist, so it's lifting away from the reformer. There's a little imaginary beach ball between you and the carriage. Stay strong to that waist. Now from here, we'll start with a few clams and then get into our lovely hip circles. So hand on top hip, hips again are stacked, feet are just back behind you and feet are together. From here, we just start to open through that top knee, keeping hips stacked, and then we inhale to lower. Again, lovely bit of hip mobility. Exhale, we open just as far as you can without rolling that hip back. Inhale, lower. Again, open to that hip. Great way to mobilize our hip here. Work the external rotation. Good, stay strong through that forearm, strong to that elbow and shoulder. Good, and we're not letting that hip roll back. That hand on hip is there to give you a bit of feedback on what that hip is doing. We shouldn't feel any movement. Let's go last 5. Good. You've got 4. Then getting into our hip circles. Last 3. Good. Give me 2. And last one, let me close that clam down. Beautiful. Good, quick movement here, quick little reset. Now for our hip circles, these are gonna feel so good. I love these. We're gonna lift our top knee and foot up. So they're gonna come in line. We're imagining there's a paintbrush on our knee and there's a canvas in front of us. Hips stay stacked. We're gonna start to draw circles on that imaginary canvas. Circles are coming from the hip, but that knee is drawing the circle. Good. So circling from the hip, find that lovely mobility. You might feel a few little clicks and catches in that hip. That is totally normal. As long as it's not painful, it shouldn't be painful. Good. Keeping that knee bent at 90 degrees. We reverse the circle in 4, in 3, 2, and let's take it other way. Circling other way again, mobilizing and strengthening that hip under load here. Really great for our hip mobility, our hip health. Good, you've got 5. Stay strong through that forearm. 3, 2, and last one. Drop that knee down. Well done, team. Listen carefully. Slide that strap off now. We are done with that strap. Pop it back on its pole out of the way. We're gonna come up for some lovely mermaids now as promised. So come up that forearm. Let's find our Z-sit position. So we're still facing that same direction. Right shin is gonna come up against our shoulder post. Left shin is crossed in front. Now, if you're not comfortable in a Z-sit position, if it's not good for your hips, you don't find it comfortable, you can also do this one cross-legged or just seated on the side of your form with your feet lifted off the floor. Otherwise, we're in our Z-sit. Finding a nice comfortable position, sit up nice and tall on those sit bones. We're going to start with our left hand in the center of our foot bar. Reach that right arm long onto that headrest. First movement is just our mermaid. We're going to press away and then reach up and over with that right hand, or right arm I should say. Think bicep in line with ear. We're keeping our chest open so we're not collapsing forward. Chest stays open and that right sit bone is staying grounded on the carriage. It's not lifting here to really maximize that stretch through that right side waist. And then we're going to come up, right hand to headrest, and we're going to come the other way, counter that stretch, other direction, reverse the mermaid. Good, big reach up and over. Such a lovely one for stretching out through the shoulders, through the side waist, the obliques. And also just moving our spine. Let's go back other direction. In that lateral flexion. We don't often move through this lateral direction in our day-to-day lives. So really great for our spinal health, our spinal mobility, to work through all planes of movement like we are in today's class. Beautiful. Good, now on the next one, as we plant that left hand back to foot bar, I want you to take it to the very back corner of your foot bar. We're going to press away, mermaiding over the same way, holding here this time. And then when you're ready, we're going to square that chest to the floor, rotating, and drop your right hand to the opposite corner of the foot bar. This time that right hip will lift off the carriage, that's totally fine. Eye gazes down towards our well, to that working spring, and we're just sinking down, get that chest nice and low, stretching through the shoulders, the upper back and the chest. Let's come in some beautiful extension here, keeping those arms long. Let's start to draw the carriage all the way in, arms stay straight, lifting the chest, gently looking up to the ceiling. If that feels good, find an extension through that upper spine. And then we sink it back down. Let's go 2 more just like that, sinking down into that rotation. And then exhale, drawing up, keep shoulders down away from ears, lifting up. And then press it back down. Beautiful. You've got 1 more just like that. Good. Exhale, bring it up. Shoulders stay down. Can we find a little bit more range this time through the spine? Find that beautiful extension. And then drop it back down. Hold it down this time. Good. Holding here. And then we lift that right arm up. We come back into that mermaid. And we're going to come all the way back up one last time, right hand to headrest, and we mermaid back over to the headrest one last time here. Beautiful. Coming on up. We're going to set up for a bit of a quad and a thigh stretch now. So we're going to add on an extra blue spring. So I'm on 2 medium springs now. You don't have 2 medium, you can also go 1 heavy here, but I'm going 2 blue, so 2 medium springs on. We're going to turn around and find a high kneeling position. facing towards our shoulder post. I've got both knees into my shoulder post here. I'm high kneeling. I'm gonna reach down. I'm gonna grab on to my ropes, not my straps, grab onto my ropes, just about where the knots are. So I'm holding on and I'm extending my arms long and the carriage is slightly opened away from the stopper. So I've got a fair bit of tension on here. So I'm holding quite high up. I want you to roll the shoulders down away from ears. We're coming into our quad stretch, keeping the spine tall, tailbone tucked. And I want you to imagine you've got a soft little peach here between your chin and chest that we're holding onto as we come into this stretch. Now from here, hold that peach, keep spine long. We're gonna start to take a little hinge back, just slowly, not a huge range, just a little hinge. Find that little lean back, keeping spine long, chin is tucked, holding that peach. You find a beautiful stretch through those quads, the front of your thighs. And then we exhale to come all the way back up. Use that heavy spring resistance to help you come up. Let's go a few more like that. We inhale back, sinking back just as far as you feel comfortable, using those springs, those straps, the support here. Tailbone is tucked, shoulders are down. Find that stretch. Whew, feels so good. And come on up. Good. Let's go about 3 more here. See if you get a little bit further, a little bit deeper with every stretch. I have such tight quads as well. I'm just finding out here. Definitely going to feel a nice strong stretch here. It's a super strong one. A little bit of strengthening, but a lot of stretching as well. Good. Can we go a little bit further? Yes, there we go. Good. You've got one more here. Good. And release it back. Relax. Relaxing into it. Keep that peach between your chin and chest. Good, and coming on up, beautiful. Close that carriage. Got one more bit of stretch here for our thighs or our quads. Pop those straps down. Now from here, take hold of your shoulder poses, carefully shuffling yourself back to bring your knees towards the back or near the springs of your carriage. From here, carefully we're going to step our right foot forward so it's just in front or just beside that right shoulder post. First option, just coming up, finding our lunge stretch. We're going to hinge forward. Find that lunge stretch and just hold. More of a hip flexor stretch if you're taking this position. That's totally fine if this feels better for you. You might like the position better if you do have sore knees or fragile knees at all. Otherwise, if we want to go a little bit further and take this into a deeper thigh and quad stretch, carefully hold on to those shoulder posts. We're going to bring the top of our left foot, just wrap it around the front of your foot bar. When you're ready, you can release those shoulder posts coming up and find that nice length through your spine. You can either just hold here, beautiful stretch for that quad and for that hip flexor, or you can bring your hands on top of your foot bar and just relax back into the stretch, holding that gentle tuck of that chin with that peach underneath your chin and chest, and just leaning back into it, opening to the chest, and you're going to feel a beautiful deep stretch through that quad. Now again, if you have sore knees or knee issues at all, you may not like this stretch. That's totally fine. Just stick with that first option I gave you in that hip flexor lunge. And let's just take one more nice deep breath here, then we'll do the other side. Beautiful. When you're ready, carefully guiding yourself back up, hands to shoulder posts. You can take that left knee and foot down. We'll take both knees down, sorry, I should say. And then our left foot comes forward. Our right knee is going to start back. So again, left foot beside the shoulder post. Right knee is down. First option again, we're holding that hip flexor stretch, just pressing those hips forward. Find that nice stretch through that right hip flexor. Or again, if you're feeling good and you're happy to, hands to shoulder posts. We're going to wrap the top of our right foot over that foot bar. First option here is just hold that hip flexor stretch. Or if we're comfortable and confident, we lean back, hands on top of that foot bar. Keep that peach between your chin and chest. Shoulders down away from ears, and we're just relaxing back into that deep thigh and quad stretch. Whew. It's a strong one, but my goodness, doesn't it feel so good? Absolutely beautiful stretch. Good, let's just go one more nice deep breath here. In through the nose. And relax out through the mouth. Good, when you're ready, coming on up, hands back to shoulder posts and you can take those knees both down. Well done, team. We're gonna get set up for the other side of that side lying series now. So taking off either one blue spring, just left with one blue or one medium spring, or going back onto that one blue or medium spring if you're on a heavy spring. So you should all be back on that one blue. Let's prop our headrest back up to its highest position. And this time we're lying onto our left side. So come on down when you're ready. Head comes onto the headrest, and we're setting up for those side arm openings again. So you're quite far forward to the front of your carriage, almost into that front shoulder post. And we're just slightly shuffling down away from our shoulder post, so we have a bit of room to roll back. So you must want to test before we get set up. Once you're happy, knees are tucked up in front of you. Arms are both going to reach forward, palms together. And that right hand this time is slowly going to lift up to the ceiling. Big reach up, eye gaze follows that hand as you reach it back, dropping that right shoulder down to the carriage, if your range allows, or just as far as you can go, and find that big reach of those fingertips to each side of the room, like you're being pulled to each side. Big stretch. Good, enjoy that, relaxing into it, and then you're going to close it back down. Nice big reach, rainbow back up and over, and let's repeat that 3 more times. Big reach up. Good. Again, if you need to shuffle away from that shoulder post, please do so you have a bit of room to open all the way. You want to find that beautiful deep stretch here and that twist through the spine as well as opening through the chest. Good. And close it back down. Good. Let's go for 2 more. Good. Big reach up. Eye gaze follows fingertips. Hopefully feeling a little bit more mobile, a little bit looser now, a bit more range. Good. This one really feels nice for the spine as well, and that mid-back. Good, and let's go 1 more. Then we're grabbing on to that strap. Good, big reach, big stretch away, reach those fingertips nice and wide. Good, and then take it back through center. Nice and slow, well done. Alrighty, when you're ready, shuffle back into that headrest. Get yourself set up for our side lying leg and strap. And take hold of that long loop that's in front of us. Gently tug that loop, pop it over the arch of your right foot this time. Extend that leg nice and long. Our hips are stacked, top hand comes to hip, like we're lying against an imaginary brick wall. And we're gonna find that little turnout from the hip. So actually rotate from the hip and toes should slightly turn towards the ceiling. Keeping the hips stacked, that right leg stays long, and let's start to float that leg up to the ceiling just as far as you can without rolling back. Find that beautiful stretch through the inner thigh, through the hip. Holding there for a moment, and then we drive it back down. Press it down, keep the toes turning up, and we repeat. Inhale to lift that leg up. Find that stretch, a little bit more range on this rep, hopefully, and every rep after that. And drive it down. Now as we start to repeat all these series on the other side of our body, you may notice one side feels a little bit different than the other. Maybe you have a bit more range on one side and one side feels a little bit tighter. That is so normal. So just working with what range you have here. No pressure. Whatever you find on each side, just going with it. Good. We often have muscle imbalances from side to side. So it's very normal for one side to be a little bit tighter than the other. But with this unilateral work in this recovery class, you should hopefully be getting a little bit more range into each side. Let's go last 2. We're going to hold it up and increase that stretch using the strap on the next one. Good. Float that leg up. We hold it up. And we're just going to gently reach up, grab onto the strap, and just ever so gently pull that strap towards you. You're not forcing it. Just aiding that stretch to make it a little bit deeper. And just breathing into it. Sinking deeper with every exhale. Let's go 1 more nice deep breath here. Then we're sliding that strap over the knee for our clams. And when you're ready, release. Hands hip, we drive that leg back down. And we can bend that knee in. Let's take that strap over the knee. Carefully bring it over that knee. And we're going to prop ourselves up and lower that headrest down. So pop her all the way back down now. And then shuffling gently towards that headrest with your hips. That left forearm now comes onto the headrest. elbow directly underneath our shoulder. Hips are stacked and we're lifting through that waist and we're pressing up and out of that shoulder. And again, we should be a little bit more towards our shoulder post so we're not near that foot bar. It's not going to get in our way. Feet are back behind you. Feet stay together for our clams to begin. Let's start to open that top knee up, opening through the hip. And then we inhale to close it back down. And repeat. Exhale, open just to the point that hip stays stacked. Inhale, close. We're not rolling back. We want to open through that hip and hopefully get a little bit more range with every rep here. Again, that's the goal. Increasing our mobility. Open up through those tight muscles. Keep lifting out of that left side waist like there's an imaginary beach ball here. We're lifting up and away from. Good. Can we go last 4? Into those hip circles after this. You've got 3. Good. Last 2. And make this last clam. And close it back down. Have a quick little reset. Now for our hip circles again, that right knee and foot are going to lift up to that hip height. Again, imagine that paintbrush on our knee and that canvas in front. We're going to start to draw little circles. Circles are coming from the hip. That knee is the paintbrush. It's circling around in one direction to begin. Stay strong through that shoulder, strong through that side waist. How good does this feel for the hip? Again, you may feel a few little clicks and catches as we go. Very normal, but hopefully starting to get a little bit more mobile. A little more open through that hip. Let's reverse in 3, 2, and take it the other way, circling the other way. Last bit of work here for those hips, and we're into our mermaid. You've got 4. Good, last 3, 2, and last 1, and drop it down. Careful, let's unstrap that leg. Awesome, let that carriage come to a close. And we'll pop that strap away, get that one out of the way. Let's come up for our mermaids, finding our Z sit or whatever position was more comfortable for you in your mermaids. Finding your happy position here. If we're in our Z sit, our left shin should be up against our shoulder post. Our right leg should be crossed in front. Starting with our right hand to the center of our foot bar, left hand reaching down onto that headrest. Can we start to press away and reach up and over to that foot bar. Keep that left sit bone grounded to your carriage as you find that beautiful lateral bend opening to that left side waist. And then we come up, left hand to headrest as you close that carriage and we reach over, counter stretch other way. Go again, chest stays up, think bicep in line with ear as you mermaid. One more just like that, hand to foot bar, pressing away. Keep that left sit bone grounded as you mermaid and reach. Good, and one more here over to the headrest. Close that carriage, left hand down, right arm reaches. Beautiful stretch for that side waist, the shoulders. Is working that lovely lateral flexion. This time as that right hand comes down to foot bar, it goes to that back corner. We press away, we find our mermaid, we hold here. And we're adding that beautiful rotation. So let's square our chest to the floor. Left hand comes the other side of our foot bar. That left hip will lift this time. And just sinking your chest low into that working spring. Arms are long, shoulders down away from ears. And let's come to those 3 beautiful extensions. As you exhale, start to draw that carriage in. Arms stay long, shoulders away from ears. Can we lift and look up to the ceiling, extending through the spine? And then sink it back down, pressing all the way back down, sinking down nice and low, stretching for that upper body. And repeating 2 more times. Exhale, we draw it up, shoulders slide down away from ears. Good, can we get a little bit further into that extension? Feel it all the way down that right side waist, feels so good. Press it away. You've got 1 more just like that. Beautiful, lift it up, eye gaze up, close that carriage all the way if we can. And we take it back down, beautiful. Sinking down into that rotation, holding here for a moment. And that left hand will lift, we'll find that mermaid position again, plant that left sit bone down. And slowly come all the way back up, left hand down to headrest. And 1 more mermaid over to that side. Beautiful work. and coming all the way up when you're ready. We're going to step off to one side of our carriage and finish class today with a beautiful roll down. So just facing towards me. Have your feet about hip width apart. We're softening through those knees, relaxing those shoulders away from ears. And when you're ready, like you're peeling away from an imaginary wall, start to tuck your chin to chest. Roll the shoulders forward. And one vertebrae at a time is peeling away from that imaginary wall behind you as you come all the way down, just going as low as we feel good, going super slow. Reaching down either for the shins, the ankles, the toes, or maybe we can go now all the way to the floor. Now those hammies are feeling super mobile, super stretchy and lengthy. Just reaching down as low as you can go. Again, soft through those knees. We're not hyperextending or locking out. And can we just grab onto the elbows and just take a nice little sway from side to side as you let the head, the shoulders, the arms all hang nice and heavy here. Maybe you want to nod the head yes or shake the head no. Just taking whatever movements feel good for you here. Good, releasing any tension. And when you're ready, coming back through center, you can release those arms back down to the floor or to the ankles. And let's exhale as you press through those heels. Start to peel yourself slowly back up. Rolling the spine up, restacking over the pelvis, one vertebrae at a time. Until those shoulders come up. Let's go for one nice big reach up to the ceiling. Big stretch, reaching up. And you can take those arms back down by your side. And that is your restorative mobility stretch class done today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling so good after that. Such a great way to help reset the body, especially if you've had a big week of training or just feeling a bit sore. But I hope however you were feeling at the start of this class, you're now feeling a little bit better, a little bit more flexy, stretchy, a bit more mobile, and just a bit more centered and grounded within yourself. Well done on taking some time to prioritize yourself and look after yourself today. I'll see you back here next time, and don't forget, if you enjoyed this workout, please give it a like and let me know how you went in the comments below and what you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new class when they're released. I'll see you back here next time. Bye.